From the finger-licking-good DJC Collectibles Studio, I'm Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. And now, a guy whose great-grandpa may actually be Harlan Sanders, Kyle Peterson.
Everyone, Kyle here to episode number 18 of the Kyle Peterson Show. And as usual, got my co-host with me, the beautiful Angie. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
And Angie, this is a downer of an episode if there ever was one, unfortunately, especially for me, you as well, but more for me, I think. Just literally, we had to scrap the whole show. I had the whole show lined up, ready to go. And just an hour ago, I got the call from good friend of the channel, Jeff George. And we'll get into this in here in a bit. But I'm downstairs. I'm taking pictures, some glamour shots for my action figure reviews. I get a call from Jeff, and he breaks the news. He got a call from, I think it was Blasco or something. Got the call, and then I looked, and just a couple minutes later, bam, there it was everywhere. It was Ozzy Osborne, the Prince of Darkness, passed away at the age of 76. And oh my gosh. And the Hawaiian shirt, Western shirt went out the door today.
It just didn't feel right.
We're celebrating Ozzy here with an iconic album, and we'll get into this here. And this is going to be a bit of an Ozzy-centric episode, as strangely enough, album of the week this week was already going to be Ozzy Osborne. So that's really wild coincidence here. But Ozzy passing away, I can't believe it. And it's one of those things where, first off, Angie, how are you? Before I get into this, how are you doing? She's
I can't decide if I look like I'm going to milk a cow or someone's going to milk me.
I might, yeah. You stealing my jokes. Stealing my jokes. There's a lot of milking going on, a whole lot of milking going on. And great of you to bring the udders here today to the party. But Angie, you're doing well? Mm-hmm. You're back? Are you getting back into your routine of non-Philadelphia life?
I still feel a little weird.
She still feels a little jet-lagged, maybe?
No, it just feels weird to get back in the swing of things.
Feels weird being with me, I guess. Who are you? I don't know. It's been a weird day. Like I said, we scrapped this whole episode here. Angie didn't know. She just comes along for the ride. But I had to scrap everything. And I guess this is episode 18. That'll be episode 19. I'll just have to find a different album of the week. And we'll get that in the future. But in full transparency, I'm filming this Tuesday, right the day before I leave for San Diego Comic-Con. Do you even know what the date is today?
22nd.
22nd. So the 23rd, I fly out at 5:30 in the morning. So Angie's going to get up nice and early, drop me off at the airport. But I am already swimming today. This has been a very, very stressful day for me. And I dangle a lot of stress and a lot of stuff on my shoulders at all times. And today has been an overwhelming day. I started off the morning with a lot of work for my day job, even though I'm on vacation. I'm technically on vacation today, Tuesday till next Tuesday I return to work. But I spent like a good 2.5 hours dealing with stuff on phone calls. Just, I can't get away. It just drives me crazy. But I did that, and then I had to go outside and mow. I was like, I'm going to be gone for a week. I got to take care of this yard. We've had a ton of rain, a ton of heat, so that grass, you can hear it growing outside. Mm-hmm. And we got like trees, like these trees back there that are growing like crazy. You got to cut all the leaves. I was like Brutus Beefcake out there, cutting away, getting all those done. And then I do the weed whacker all around the fence, all this kind of stuff. And it's like 100 degrees outside with humidity and everything. So
humid.
Sweating just extra gross and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I had to do all that. But it took me like 2.5 hours because I kept getting phone calls from work to interrupt me along the way. And I'm just so frustrated. And then today, as I'm filming this, this is on YouTube by now. I had the Major Bendy's Donovan Danhausen figure. And Sting Legacy pack, the Briscoe Brothers pack. And then Angie, what did you find today for me? She made my load a little lighter in more ways than one today. Angie, what did you find for me today?
The Red Terry Funk.
2 Red Terry Funks I needed, plus what else? Shawn Michaels DX. She found that right before.
4 right on the peg.
Oh my gosh. Been trying to hunt those ones down, needed those ones, and Angie came in clutch, found that for me.
You're welcome.
A nice little going away present. One of many, of course, but very happy to have those there. But now I'm like, okay, I got to get the Shawn Michaels review, the Sting review, the Danhausen review, the Briscoe Brothers review done. And then this podcast you're watching right now, I got to edit this one tonight, and I got to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to be able to catch the plane and all that. So truly Ozzy Osbourne style. We say it all the time on the channel. No rest for the wicked. That's what it is. It all goes back to Ozzy in this very episode here. It's an Ozzy-themed one, but I'm stressing out, and then you throw Ozzy dying on top of all this.
You're going to join him in the grave.
I'm going to join him there. I'm not long for this world. I am not. I'm not long, and you're gonna have to carry this podcast on with a new co-host. And Angie, there's a lot of guys that have been DMing me that are willing to step in for me if something does happen. So shout out to all you guys, and I don't get offended by that kind of stuff because I know I'm the only one that has your heart. But some of these guys are making plays. They're making plays for you with some of this stuff. And after this little show today, there might be more plays being ready for you. So who knows? But shout out to Angie looking only like she can look. Celebrating Ozzy the only way Ozzy would want to be celebrated today. But I did ditch the Western wear. I did ditch the floral.
It looks weird.
For Ozzy. And I feel weird behind this desk not being somewhat dressed up. But we're doing it here. We're doing it for a tribute for Ozzy. So there is a ton of stuff going on, like I said. So I set the table for where we are. We're filming this one. Patreon members, you're going to get lucky. You'll get this episode a little bit earlier than normal. So shout out to the Patreon. And Angie, I got to shout out DJC Collectibles. Use discount code ADOFDJC, the proud sponsor of the Kyle Peterson Show. And if you want to sponsor the Kyle Peterson Show, you want to sponsor Angie, the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com is the place to do that there. Thanks to DJC Collectibles. And I got a lot of good stuff coming from DJC. Probably be in the mailbox when I'm in San Diego. So
I'll review it.
Be on the ready for that. Hey, I'm here for it. I need some help. I'm swimming. I'm swimming right now. And I get back from San Diego Saturday morning, Saturday lunchtime.
You don't even really get back.
I don't really get back. I get back Saturday. I guess we'll run through it real quick, the play. So Wednesday morning, I think we're leaving here at like 4 a.m. to go to the airport. I fly to Arizona, then to San Diego for there. Get off the plane, wait about a half hour for a good friend of the channel, Jeff George. More on him in a second. We meet up. We're going to take the Uber to our hotel, drop our stuff off, hopefully get early check-in. If not, hopefully they'll hold our stuff for us because we got a soiree to go to, Todd McFarlane's soiree. So Todd McFarlane, good friend of the channel, off the couch over to San Diego. He already left. He's ahead of me there. So meet up with Todd McFarlane on all that going on. We're going to go get to their little soiree once again. VIP invite only. It's real swanky stuff, let me tell you. I'll wear my collared shirt, no doubt about it.
No shoes or socks allowed.
No shoes or socks allowed. Good one, Angie. So going from that, and then so we'll be at that thing all day, go back to the hotel for about an hour. Then it is preview night. That's the most stressful line day of it all for San Diego. 6 to 9 o'clock, and then we're meeting up with Jeff George's. I almost said Jeff Jarrett. No, we're meeting up with Jeff Jarrett. No, Jeff George's buddy is actually in town, so we're going to go to dinner with them at like 10 o'clock, and this is, of course, Pacific time. And then go back to the hotel, and I'm going to need to edit some videos, and then get up very early. We got the Hasbro breakfast the next day, so we're going to go to that. Then, of course, a full day of San Diego Comic-Con between panels, exclusives, line waiting, video content, all that kind of stuff. Thursday night is the Dreadnoks concert, Cold Slither at Brick by Brick, so I will be there. Very excited to see that. Get up early Friday morning, back in the saddle again at San Diego Comic-Con all day long. And then Friday night is the Toy YouTubers to Unite. So that's going to be open bar, all this kind of stuff with Jeff. So that's going to be dangerous.
This is the longest run-on sentence of your life.
Be there at like till midnight on Friday night, and then of course have to get up very early for our flight at like 5:30 to Chicago. Angie and I, we'll find our way together with the kids around noon, lunchtime. Check into the hotel. Then we're taking you guys to Wrigley Field so you can get your K-pop fix. And then Jeff George and I will be front row. By the time you watch this, it's over. We'll be front row for AEW Collision in Chicago that night. And then we'll go to that. That'll be a whole all-nighter. Get back to the hotel at midnight and then get up at like 6 a.m. the next day. Go to Kane County Toy Show. That's what I'm fingers crossed for. Hopefully I can get these kids out of bed and the wife out of bed. Go to Kane County Toy Show. Then drive the 5.5 hours home to Chicago, from Chicago. And then, of course, start your work week all over again. It's just a busy, busy time. It's a busy time. But we'll get there, and a lot of content on the channel. By the time you're watching this, a lot of that stuff has already happened. So check back on the San Diego Comic-Con adventure. And Angie, going to miss you so much.
Yes.
There it is.
Sad times.
So what else is new with you?
Oh my God. I cut bang.
We got haircuts. Yeah, we got haircuts yesterday. I had to.
Kyle doesn't like it.
Oh, I love it. That's right. I don't like it. I love it. No, I just don't like Angie. She is the definition of a bull in the china shop when she does this stuff. So I'm like talking for a month. I'm going to get a haircut for San Diego. So I'm planning these things out. So sometime in the next month, I'm getting a haircut. Just a little bit off, snip it. I kind of want to go shorter, but you don't want me to go shorter, but I kind of want to go shorter.
Well, just not too short.
Long story short. Anyways, but then he's like, I'm going to go along for a haircut. And I wanted to say something. I didn't. But I was going to say, you should think about this for a while before you jump into this haircut. Because it's always a shenanigans. And shenanigans abound, of course, at the haircut. Mm-hmm. So you want to talk about it?
I just got some layers around my face, and they went a lot shorter than I was expecting.
It's always dangerous when they go shorter, but it's fine.
But it's still, my hair's still long. I just trimmed it.
Fine,
These are my baby hairs.
Which hair's long? What?
the length of my
you were
hair.
Pointing down. You were pointing down. I was confused for a second.
I'm just saying like that. It goes down. Still
Oh
to
yeah,
my,
it goes
my
down to
hair's
your
still
butt.
long.
It goes down to your butt for sure.
But I just got these little like.
You're trying to do the wrap around where you can wrap it all the way around. Who knows? But
that's it.
But how long do you think it'll take to grow back?
5 years.
5 years.
This piece to grow all the way to my butt.
Oh yeah. Maybe. That was you really need to think these things through a little bit more.
I think it's cute. I like it.
I don't mind it. I don't hate it.
They'll tell me if they think it's cute.
Oh, they'll all say it's cute. You know how that goes. They will, for sure. Like that. That's the look there. But it looks good. It looks good. But Angie, now it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast here. And like I said, we already do an album of the week, Ozzy, but we're going to go Ozzy-centric here today. And of course, do you remember your first time ever hearing about Ozzy Osborne? Probably not. The Osbournes TV show, maybe? That was for a lot of people, I know.
I'm sure his music.
Yeah. So I've known about Ozzy since I got into heavy metal as a little kid right there. And speaking of the devil, here's Jeff George is calling me right now. Jeff George, good friend of the channel. He's probably going to break my heart with some other. He's like, did you know Geezer Butler just died? That's the way the day's going. We're just going to go on to the rest. But
where are we at in this podcast? Is this still the intro?
This is the intro, yes. This is still the intro here. This is off the rails. Like I said, format went out the window. Format went out the window here. But Jeff, strangely enough, has an Ozzy connection. As when Zakk Wylde left the band, Ozzy always, as usual, auditioned guitarist. And he did audition for the guitar spot at Ozzy Osbourne. And I believe Gus G might have got it at that time. So shout out to Jeff for even at least trying to be Ozzy's guitarist. Who knows?
Iconic.
Probably said, I don't want to be, we don't need another blonde hair. We had Randy. We don't need somebody else. But and they had Zakk, of course. But a wild time. But yeah, this is going on for a while, Angie. We better get into the meat of the potatoes. And we're going to mix up the format. We're going to mix up the format a little bit, Angie, as we're going. Instead, usually we go to a deeper dive right now. We're putting a deeper dive on hold this week. Instead, we're going to story time with Kyle. All right, Angie, it's time for story time with Kyle, and I still feel strange wearing a t-shirt behind this desk. I feel like that collared shirt is so important to the overall experience. Yes. You, though, looking great.
Well, it makes you pop off the background, too. So
yeah.
You look like you're just like...
I don't know. I look like it's casual Sunday over here is what it looks like. And we save the casual stuff for the basement when we're doing that kind of stuff. But here at this studio, I mean, we pay a lot of money for this studio to rent every single week. It's a lot. It adds up, guys. It adds up. Join the Patreon. Help support the channel, of course. Angie, what's your Venmo? Let everybody know your Venmo. Let's pay. We need to pay for that. But we're going to dive into story time with Kyle. And I guess this is a perfect time to tell my introduction to Ozzy Osbourne. Like I asked you just a little bit. You don't really know your introduction. Probably just hearing it on the radio and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it's very, very clear how I got into Ozzy Osbourne. It's a bit of a strange tale as well. And it does involve this album a little bit as well at the same time. But Angie, so what happened to me was I was a little kid. Once upon a time, I was an elementary student, of course. And MTV was a big thing back in the day. There was videos all the time, all in kind of this stuff. And my first music band group, whatever you want to call, and that was part of the format we were going to discuss today, Paul McCartney was one of the first ever musicians I loved. And I remember people telling me, Paul McCartney was in the Beatles. He was in a famous band. I'm like, I don't want to hear these Beatles. I just like Paul McCartney solo. I don't need to hear this Beatles stuff. Can't be better than Off the Ground. Of course, the most iconic Paul album of all time. But I was getting into music at that time. For whatever reason, Paul McCartney stole my heart and never let go, like a young Angie or Rio, of course, my true girlfriend on the side, as some know. But I was into Paul McCartney big time. And then all of a sudden, a little band came by named Faith No More. I absolutely loved Faith No More. The song Epic came about. Falling to Pieces was the follow-up. Of course, I loved him. I immediately got the cassette tape back in the day. I went back and even got the Chuck Mosley years with We Care a Lot. I love that era. I love the Mike Patton era. I love Faith No More, one of my favorite bands of all time. Unfortunately, I've never seen Faith No More. I have seen Mr. Bungle. I got to spend some time with Mike Patton as a teenager, which was so cool. I got to bowl with them. A lot of fun times there. That's another story time with Kyle in the future. But I loved Faith No More. And of course, if you guys are familiar with Faith No More, the album Epic, they had a song on there called War Pigs. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is a cover. So I'm reading the liner notes, of course. And I find out it's by, I think it said like Terry Butler and John Osborne. It had their like real names in there. But I remember looking it up, Black Sabbath. I'm like, what's this Black Sabbath band? I said, they should probably be pretty good, I'm guessing, if Faith No More's playing it. I'd never heard of Black Sabbath, never heard of Ozzy Osborne, never heard of any of this kind of stuff ever. So I'm going in from Faith No More fandom. I go to, I think it was Suncoast Music or Musicland. It wasn't quite Sam Goody. Goody didn't have them in my area until much later, but it was Musicland or Suncoast. You remember either of those?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good times. A lot of good times at those back in the day. And I went there and I said, I'm going to find this Black Sabbath thing. I'm going to find out what this is, and maybe I'll like that band like I like Faith No More. And it's if you're a young kid and maybe old kid, whatever you are, you snowball. One group makes you a fan of another group. You find Judas Priest and you hear about Iron Maiden, so you listen to Iron Maiden, and then you hear Motorhead. It all kind of snowballs, especially in heavy metal fandom, and especially when guys have been solo careers, regular bands as well. So I said, I'm going to find this War Pigs album by Black Sabbath. Well, I found the cassette tape that day, and I was very excited. But the only cassette tape they had of the War Pigs album was one of those old school 2-in-1 albums where side A was War Pigs, and then side B was Heaven and Hell, another classic Sabbath album. However, Ronnie James Dio, the singer of Sabbath at the time. So as a kid, I'm playing this. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. War Pigs and stuff. Paranoid. I'm checking all this stuff out for the first time. I'm loving it. I'm just eating it up with a fork and a spoon. Went to KFC, got the spork. Of course, this week we did that same thing.
So was War Pigs Ozzy and Heaven and Hell was
Black
Dio?
Sabbath.
Well, it was all, but yeah.
Yeah. So then I listened to it. I love that album. Then I flipped to side B. I'm like, man, I don't know if I knew he was technically Ozzy at the time, because this had no liner notes inside it. I should mention that. It was just one of those ones, no liner notes, album A on one side, B on the other. And I'm like, man, I didn't know it was Ozzy, I don't think, at the time. But I'm like, boy, the singer sure sounds different. Yeah. And I just thought they were the same. It was both Black Sabbath. Why wouldn't it be the same singer as a little kid? And I'm just like, man, this is so different. And to this day, I am a little bit torn. I absolutely love the Dio stuff. The Dio Sabbath years are absolutely amazing. Ozzy solo is better than Dio solo for sure, but man, oh man, they're both good. It's hard to choose, but I love both of them. But I was listening to that and I was very confused. However, on that same day, and a lot of heavy metal fans have had this experience many years. Angie, you have this similar experience with the kids right now with K-pop. I think you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you say, ooh, it's this K-pop album. I'm going to buy it based off the cover. Never heard it, but we're going to check it out. Maybe not. But back then it was a different time. There was no internet and stuff, as we know. So anyways, I'm buying this Black Sabbath 2-in-1, but at the same time, I'm in the metal section, and what do I see? I see Speak of the Devil right here. I see this cassette tape, and this absolutely blew my mind because, of course, I'm a little kid. I love horror movies. I love all that kind of stuff like young kids do at the time, especially boys. And I thought this was the coolest album cover I had ever seen. And I had no idea that Ozzy was in Black Sabbath, had no idea there was relation to any of this stuff. And I bought the cassette, once again, just based on the appearance. And I absolutely loved this one, Speak of the Devil. I loved War Pigs. I loved Heaven and Hell. It was a great day for little Kyle in the cassette tape department, let me tell you. And then I started researching, and you start buying like Metal Edge magazine and Rip and stuff, and you start paying attention to Headbangers Ball and new stuff. And before you know it, I'm into the Priest, I'm into the Maidens, I'm into the Megadeth, everything in between, of course, at the time. So I'm living the dream, living that metal dream. But I couldn't believe until, I don't know when it hit me, but I remember just being totally blown away that, wait a minute, what are the odds I got Black Sabbath and Ozzy, not knowing they were related, not knowing they were even the same singer, because there's no liner notes. Just absolute wild thing. So it was a wild day as far as finding Ozzy, finding Sabbath, and then, of course, you go from there, you get all the other Sabbath albums and on cassette, CD, you guys know that. Same thing with the Ozzy albums, where so many good Ozzy albums. We're going to get to that here, but it led me down to the path, and I'll never forget, getting Speak of the Devil, my first Ozzy, but then getting the Diary of the Madmans, the Ultimate Sins. I remember Just Say Ozzy was out around that time as well. So many other ones. And then it goes all the way down to, Tribute, Bark at the Moon. I can list Ozzy albums all day long, but it was a wild, wild day getting those ones. And I'll never forget going there, looking at them. I can still just picture it. You got some memories that just stick with you. And I can picture being little Kyle there. I don't know where my parents were. They were in the mall somewhere, I'm assuming, but they'd let little 8-year-old Kyle run around, no problems back then. It was a different time. But just looking at those and getting those and absorbing it all. But Faith No More was my gateway into Ozzy and everything else. So it's a wild way to get there, but that's one of the reasons a lot of these young bands do cover songs that get you to be a fan of others, I'm sure. So
you've discovered a lot of new music that way.
A lot. So, and one thing I will mention about Ozzy, I never got to see Ozzy solo. I had tickets, I think 5 or 6 times.
So many times.
Canceled so many times. And I remember the last time I think he canceled, Rob Halford was opening. And I was like, this is the ultimate.
Perfect for you.
Oh, and we were going to Minnesota for that. I remember we were going to go to the Mall of America. We were going to do the whole rigmarole there. And it was horrible. There was a blizzard and it all got canceled. A Blizzard of Oz came through and canceled that one. But I never got to see Ozzy. However, I did get to see Ozzy with Black Sabbath on 2 occasions. One time with Bill Ward, everybody there. And then the other time with, what was it, Tommy Clufetos? Was that who it was? Sure. Angie's going to say sure. I never heard that name before, but I did get to see that in Kansas City, both of them down in Kansas City. But that was 2004 Ozfest. I got to see that, and that was an all-timer. The Judas Priest reunion with Rob Halford was that same day. Who else was there? Slipknot was there. Black Label Society was there. Slayer was there. It was quite the show. It was one of the all-time great shows, of course. You weren't there. I met you about 6 months after that. Yeah. But if I would have met you 6 months earlier, I would have forced you to go to that show, I'm sure. But that's it. That is Story Time with Kyle, a very somber story time. But I'll never forget finding my way to Ozzy, and the rest was history, as one may say, Angie. But now we're going to keep the Ozzy train rolling, no pun intended, with the album of the week. All right, Angie, it's time for Album of the Week, and it's so fitting that this is the Album of the Week this week, as it was going to be the Album of the Week this week, so it's a weird coincidence how that goes. And it's always coincidences, because Ozzy just performed literally like 2 weeks ago and passed away after that. Talk about bookending your career. It's almost like he needed that to be able to head to the other side, as one may say. He got a one-way ticket, but very strange how that works. Lemmy was very similar as well. When Lemmy passed away, I'll never forget going down to see Lemmy one last time playing the slot machines on the cruise, knowing this is the last time I'm ever going to lay eyes on him. I just knew in my soul. And you didn't want to come back down. You were in our cabin. You might have been pregnant for that one. I can't remember if you were. But you were like, I'm not going back. I'm like, I got to. I remember I tried to sleep. And I said, I just need to go see Lemmy one last time. And I just knew that it was the last time. And he passed away 2 months later. And of course, it's weird. You just kind of know where that goes. And it's always scary around birthdays because they say a lot of people pass away on their birthday. Like it's like a bookend of their life. So I get a little nervous every June 25th. Mark your calendars. Send you presents, of course. I always get a little nervous around those times. But
yeah, it's weird to think you can kind of control when you go. I feel like a lot of people can. It's like, they're like, I'm done.
Let me tell you, after the day I've had today, I've thought about it a couple times. I just don't want to leave you, of course. It's just too much. If you weren't here, maybe I would. But I've thought about it. This has been an all-timer.
You just were to go out in traffic or what?
Yeah, I'd probably just walk out there or something. I don't know how I'd go. I'd figure it out, though. Somewhere cool and make a statement, that's for sure. But thankfully, I was really thinking about it. I was actually on the roof of our house, and then Angie called me, and she said, I did real good. I found Shawn Michaels and 2 Terry Funks, and I took that step back from the ledge.
Get down, Kyle, get down.
I said, I'd take that step back. That's what I needed.
Slip and fall.
Yeah, exactly. Crack my head open. That's all I need. But very fitting this week. The album of the week is one of the most iconic albums of all time for me. And dare I say, I don't know. I'd have to sit and think my favorite Ozzy album of all time, but maybe it's just because of my age. Obviously, I wasn't around for the Randy Rhoads days. I wasn't around for the original Sabbath days. I wasn't born yet. But and then, of course, Randy and all that. A lot of that happened when I was too little to understand this kind of stuff. I was watching G.I. Joe and Transformers. I wasn't listening to Ozzy when I was 4 and 5 years old. But the first Ozzy album I got that came out like it was, hey, this is coming out on Tuesday. It wasn't something that was already in the stores that I was getting pumped for and I couldn't wait for. It's the album No More Tears. And Angie, we were headed back on a little bit of a road trip on Sunday, and Elle and I were on the way back, and we listened to the No More Tears album just 3 days before he passed away. And I love to go back to that album about once a year because I think it is obviously a huge one with the song No More Tears and Mama, I'm Coming Home. We'll probably get to that here too in a second. So many good songs on that album. But a little bit underrated because I think it always goes back to the Randy Rhoads years, always goes to the Black Sabbath years, I think. But No More Tears has so many good songs. I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget them, and I even left a few off. But No More Tears, obviously. Hellraiser, absolutely astonishing, of course, with Lemmy, of course. And Lemmy does not get the credit he deserves for this album because Lemmy co-wrote 4 songs on this album. I believe it's 4. And Lemmy did say when he co-wrote Mama, I'm Coming Home, or he pretty much wrote the whole thing. He didn't put the music to it, but he did the lyrics. And it drives me absolutely crazy when Ozzy gets the credit for Mama, I'm Coming Home when it was actually my boy Lemmy. And in a roundabout way, this is the first time I ever was exposed to Motorhead is via this album because of Lemmy's writing credits on here. So it's funny how that works too. But it always goes back to those ones. And Lemmy did say that he got paid more for that song than his entire career of Motorhead, which is just wild to think about there. So very crazy. But Hellraiser, Desire, oh, a good one. Of course, Angie's got a lot of that in her heart. Mama, I'm coming home. I don't want to change the world. I don't want the world to change me. And that's pretty much my motto at the end of the day. I don't want to change the world, and I don't want the world to change me. Just let me do my thing. As long as I'm not hurting anybody else, just let me do my thing. Mr. Tinker Train is on there, and I think I've taken a Tinker Train a time or two, maybe.
A time or two.
Zombie Stomp, a classic one before the zombie days of today. I'm surprised they never put that in The Walking Dead. But Zombie Stomp, and then The Road to Nowhere leads to me, of course, as we know. But a lot of great songs on there. I think, was it Sin on there too? There's a few other songs on there, but an absolute all-timer, and I'll never forget Angie, Target at Valley West. You know where that Target is. As a little kid, my stepmom going there for groceries, and I was so excited. Please, can I get this? Please, can I get this? And I did get this on cassette tape once again back then. But I remember being so excited. At the same time, I got the Macho Man Hasbro, King Macho Man Hasbro, the same day I bought this. And I still always remember that. I remember being in the backseat of the car and looking at both these purchases like, man, my night is made. Gonna put the old Ozzy on the Walkman, get Macho King coming into the Fig Fed. Oh my gosh, there's my weekend. There's my weekend. So not a lot different than my weekend now, except a little bit of time with you once in a while in there, but very similar to my weekends all these years later here. But you always have those memories, and I always have the memory where I first found out about Black Sabbath and Speak of the Devil and all that kind of stuff, and then going in and moving your way into getting this one, the first cassette, all that kind of stuff. So very, very exciting times for me, album of the week there, but very somber and very strange that this was going to be the album of the week, even though didn't know Ozzy was going to die, obviously, on Sunday. So wild, wild times. Rest in peace, Ozzy. But we're not done with our Ozzy celebration here today, Angie. Ooh. Next up, it's time for the Figure of the Week. Angie, it's time for Figure of the Week, and I forgot I had this right off the side of the table. This hangs up in my office to this day.
It's a little dusty.
It is a little dusty. A little dusty, but Speak of the Devil, they're a classic Ozzy album. This is the cover that just stole my heart, and a lot of people didn't like this on release. A lot of people hated this one. I thought it was amazing. I was a little kid. Of course, Brad Gillis, one of your all-time favorites on guitar for this one. Can you name the band he's in? You know him, though, Sister Christian. That was their famous song. Night Ranger, of course. But an amazing one, definitely worth a listen. But this album cover just spoke to little Kyle. It speaks to me all these years later. Absolutely love Speak of the Devil. Underrated live album, if there ever was one. Could be my favorite live album of all time. I don't know if I go that far, but close. It's probably top 5 for sure.
That Raspberry Jam speaking to me.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Favorite.
Well, I'll get you some of that. I'll get you some of that as well. But now, Angie, it's time for Figure of the Week. And I just had an Ozzy figure like 2 weeks ago on the channel. I think before you left or something like that. Got another one here this week with the McFarlane Toys Ozzy. And of course, once again, Todd McFarlane, good friend of the channel. See you tomorrow, Todd. Blow you a kiss. He has an Ozzy statue coming out here. So it'll be interesting to see where all the Ozzy stuff and all the Ozzy license stuff go now that he's passed away. But like I said, I just found out this news like an hour and a half ago. So it's still pretty fresh here today. But we're going to dive into the Figure of the Week. And this is a figure I got when I was in high school. And I got it at Spencer's back in the day. You remember going to Spencer's?
Oh, yeah.
You had a lot of fun in the back of the Spencer's stores, if I'm not mistaken. That was always your favorite place to head. But I always loved Spencer's because you'd always get the off the beaten path, like action figures of musicians. You can get your band t-shirts. Mm-hmm. There's still Spencer's around. I think it was like Hot Topic, Spencer's, Zooks, and there was like another one. What was the other one?
I forgot about that.
That you could get this kind of stuff at. But Spencer's had this. They had a lot of Kiss figures, and they had Ozzy figures as well. And this one I had to get, no doubt about it, because I have a love of a hairy bipedal creature. Yeah. That's why I love you so much. You're so hairy. No, you're as clean as a whistle. You're just like a fish out of water. There's no hair to be found except on your head. Uh-oh, losing things. But this is the Figure of the Week here. Was it Rock and Roll Collectibles, I think is what this was called? Maybe it's on the tag here. I can't remember. I don't know. This guy's been around for a long time. Fun for All Corp is what this is. Do we have a year on here? 1999. Oh, I partied like it was 1999, of course. But this Ozzy was absolutely amazing. There was a Rock in the Box Ozzy where it was like a Jack in the Box, but this was the one. And of course, it's old. It's a little bit loose, doesn't stick in too well, but man, oh man, this has been with me since I was in high school. I remember when I was in college, I had this in my apartment at college. We've had this in our house multiple times over the years. Now it's outside our office as well. But I love this Ozzy. I love Bark at the Moon, Ozzy, of course. As a kid, loving werewolves. As a man, loving werewolves. I absolutely loved Bark at the Moon album. I love the music video. I remember seeing that, of course, once I was getting into Ozzy, like, holy cow, Bark at the Moon. He's a werewolf in it. Just absolutely amazing. I do think there's more meat on the bone. And, of course, Todd McFarlane, once again, he did make a McFarlane figure of Bark at the Moon, but I'm looking for the definitive one. And you remember the statue I used to have of this one?
Did he break?
And it broke his fingers. He had the long fingers and all this. And we moved for the first time. One of the fingers broke off, and I was absolutely heartbroken. I think
we super glued it at that point.
We kind of super glued it, but then when we moved into our current house, the whole fingers all broke off in the movie. Those things just like fall apart. I also had the Iron Maiden statue. Oh, but I hope somewhere along the way we get a great representation of Bark at the Moon. We get a different one or something like that, because just absolutely iconic. I would love to see a really, really cool figure of this, but I've always loved this one. I also have the big Ozzy from Diary of a Madman that matches this, but it's getting a little bit long in the tooth there and not standing up as well as I would like it to.
Well, you lost his foot.
Yeah, his foot thing fell off. And look how yellow, like the plastic is like yellowing, and it's a mess. It's a mess, but
it's taped.
I am guessing he won't. I don't even want to push him because I don't think I could turn it off, but I'm guessing he doesn't sing anymore. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Nope, there's nothing in there.
Can you replace a battery?
I'm sure
it probably is corroded after time.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I didn't even think about that. AAA's, we could try it later.
Probably.
Usually just got D batteries around here, though. I don't think, isn't that what you got?
No, it just takes one. AAA.
Oh, okay. We'll get AAA there. So
I'll wear it out quick, though.
I bet. I'll come watch. But there it is. That's Ozzy, a classic one. And I'm sure if you've been around a while, you probably saw this at your Spencer's and stuff. So very, very iconic. Fitting our Ozzy theme here today.
Does he's got his name tattooed on his hand?
I think he does.
Is it his other hand? Oh, yeah.
Yep, got the Ozzy on the knuckles. And maybe we should do full tribute to Ozzy and get Ozzy on our knuckles. Or the smiley faces on our knees, maybe.
I'll do with pen.
Okay, with pen. I'll do colored pencil. That's what I'll do.
That's not gonna work.
Oh, so there it is. Ozzy Bark at the Moon figure of the week. But now we're going a little bit off of Ozzy. Maybe we can find a way to clue it in. But Angie, it's time for you to shine. It's time to try new foods because they might taste good.
Try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We gotta try new food because they might taste good.
All right, Angie, in honor of Ozzy Osborne, we're going to try new foods because they might taste good. And I think Ozzy would enjoy this snack. Is this a snack we think Ozzy might like? Sure, why not? But we did see this one. I don't know where we saw this. We decided to pick it up. We're getting a little bit backed up in some of these new foods, too. We got a few other things to get to. So we'll see what goes on next week. But we've got these pizza burger Pringles to try. I'm very excited. And they're like Pringles Mingles. So we'll get to those eventually.
Isn't it like barbecue pizza?
Yeah, I don't know what they are. But this one's moving to the front of the line here today. Angie, what do you got for us to try?
Cheez-It Wendy's Baconator.
Cheez-It Baconator. Now, I don't mind a Baconator from Wendy's. I dabble. My go-to at Wendy's is the spicy chicken sandwich, but every once in a while, I will get a Baconator, but get that mayonnaise and ketchup and mustard off there. I don't want any of that. But
I don't really like bacon-flavored things, so I don't think I'm going to like this.
What do you? What's your go-to Wendy's order?
Usually I just get like that $5 like biggie bag or whatever.
Okay, so what
is
that?
I like it's Junior Bacon Cheeseburger.
Junior Bacon
four-piece nug, small fry, and a small drink for $5.
And a Frosty.
And I sometimes add a Frosty.
I never get the Frosty.
If I'm feeling healthy, I really like that apple salad.
Okay. But I'm a spicy chicken sandwich guy through and through over there. That's my go-to. Get spicy chicken plain. That way I know it's fresh. And that way you get more of the heat with it instead of the lettuce and stuff cooling it down. So that's my go-to with some fries.
That chicken's been doing you dirty the last few times.
It has. I've had a bad spot.
Not good.
I better not talk about my Wendy's issues. But anyways, the Baconator I do dabble in. Now, the interesting thing is Cheez-Its. Thoughts on Cheez-Its, Angie?
Nah.
I am not a Cheez-It guy at all. A lot of it goes back to full transparency. Once upon a time, a decade plus ago, I was a Nabisco employee for about a decade or so. Nabisco, Kraft, Mondelez, playing all the hits, as they say. So I feuded with Cheez-Its, and I would never eat a Cheez-It to save my life because they were the sworn enemy. So I never dabbled in the Cheez-Its. But now I'm out of that game, and now I don't even think Keebler owns Cheez-Its. I don't even, it's Ferrero, I don't know who owns that stuff. So
Kellogg's.
Enough time has passed, I'm okay. And I think Ferrero just bought Kellogg's, so it's a wild time. But I like Baconator, but I don't really like Cheez-Its that much. I was a Cheese Nip guy, and most people weren't Cheese Nips. I don't even think you can buy Cheese Nips anymore. I don't even think that's a thing. But I love Nips. That's one thing I can tell you. At the end of the day, I love Nips, especially Cheese Nips, Angie, as you know.
Nip slips.
I love them. There's been a few of those over time. Eagle-eyed viewers catching those bad boys.
I'm pretty sure that was a little shadowy in that one video.
That's okay. That's all right.
That's all right.
You got a lot to show. We love to see it. We love to see it. We'd love to see more of it, you know? But we're going to try this one here. It's funny as you like Cheez-Its, okay? Or is the kids that like Cheez-Its?
The kids get them, so every once in a while, if I'm like hungry, I'll get a little.
I would never. Even if I was super hungry, I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't get a Cheez-It. But I do like bacon flavored things. I do like bacon, so I have a feeling I like this. 150 calories, serving size 26 crackers. That's pretty good for 150, I think. I'm going to try 2 crackers is what I'm going to do.
You want to smell it?
Oh, yeah.
Even though you can't smell? For some reason, it kind of smells stale to me.
I don't smell like anything to me. I can't smell. I don't smell like anything. Want it, need it, cheese it. That's what you always say to me, too. Want it, need it, cheese it. All right. There it is, Angie. Are we going to try this?
I really can see it.
No.
It's going to fall.
Put it right there.
That's scary.
Oh, nobody wants to block you, though. It's an audio podcast. You know, some people watch it on video. Most watch it audio, right? Of course. Of course. But let's try it out. Let's see what it is. There it is.
Whoa, very strong flavor right off the bat. Whether it tastes like bacon or burger, though. What does it taste like?
I don't know.
I mean, you immediately get a hit of a seasoning that's unique.
I don't really taste the bacon. I taste the Cheez-It, and then I taste a little bit of something else, but it's like hard to get the flavor in just one or two.
Do you like it better than a regular Cheez-It, though?
Nothing. Nothing jumps out at me on this one at all. And there's all kinds of Cheez-It flavors, of course, obviously. And there's a lot of people that like the extra toasted Cheez-Its, too. I don't know.
I can't decide if I like it better than a regular one or not.
To me, it's just on the same level as the regular one. It's got a little bit of
it's
flavor.
It's like when you get the goldfish with the, what's those called? And then they almost have like a dusting on the outside of them. The extra cheesy ones. I don't get bacon. I don't get Baconator at all.
I don't either. I don't get a bacon flavor. I don't know. It's almost
but there's a good seasoning on it.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about this at all. Like, I would never buy this again. I would never crave this. Hopefully the kids will enjoy it. They seem to be vacuums at this point, eating anything. So maybe they will eat through this, hopefully. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's not really different than a normal Cheez-It. And I said I'm not a Cheez-It guy. So what's the March 12th, 2026 expiration? Limited time only. I should mention that. So it's an In-N-Out item. And Angie loves a little In-N-Out, of course. I don't know. You want to go first? What are you going to rank this out of 5?
I guess a 2.5.
That's
good. I mean, it's good for what it is. I like it. I think I like it better than a regular one.
I think I'm just going to go a 1. This doesn't do anything for me. It's weird. Have I liked anything we've tried?
I feel like if it's a 1, it's got to be like you would spit it out.
That's a 0. It's a step up from that. Like, there's never going to be a 5 in my rating scale. There's never a 5 because nothing is ever 100% perfect. And if something's perfect, why would you ever go away? Why would you go somewhere else? Like you. I know. Why do I go? I don't go anywhere else. It's like you got the 5. I don't know. And then 3 is middle of the road, but a 1, it's just a 1.1. I don't know. I'm not a Cheez-It guy, so it just tastes like regular Cheez-Its, and there's not enough bacon flavor. If it had that bacon flavor, if it had like an overly good flavor, maybe I'd be up there. But for me,
I probably wouldn't like it if it had a strong bacon flavor.
I like a strong bacon flavor.
But it's weird it doesn't.
I don't know. That was a waste of time. So I wouldn't waste your time unless you want to try it. Unless you're doing the play-at-home version of the Kyle Peterson show with maybe you and your wife.
But if you love Cheez-Its, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I would
because
think.
It's got like a dusting, kind of a powdery dusting on the outside, which will use it a nice texture.
And that makes sense. That makes sense. So there it is. A little bit of a bust with the Baconator Cheez-It. Angie, we're giving it what were you giving it again? A 2?
2.5.
2.5 and a 1 for me. So your mileage may vary. Be interested to hear your thoughts. Shoot them in the comments or send us an email. How about that? But Angie, Now it's time to take an end to this somber episode. It's time for a couple of final thoughts. All right, Angie, time to get the old show on the road here. It's time for some final thoughts. And Angie, you got any good final thoughts?
You're about ready to get on the road.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to be missing. It's going to be a lonely one. But Jeff George stepped in this year to go to San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, good friend of the channel, David C. Anderson, went the last 2 years with me. I don't know if I'm going next year. I said it last year. This could be the last time. It would be nice to go with you one time. The people would like to see Angie in San Diego.
I almost went this time.
Almost went, but Jeff swooped in. It was probably good Jeff swooped in because it saved us a lot of money because we would have had to pay both of these.
And a lot of logistics.
So you were already going on a Philadelphia trip. You already had all these K-pop concerts, which I guess we'll talk about in next week's episode a little bit more. So it worked out with Jeff stepping in here. It'll be a good time with Jeff, too. Of course, we'll be rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling for sure. But yeah, next year, we'll see. I don't know. Part of me says, Kyle, it's time to go to New York Comic-Con. Let's go to PowerCon G.I. Joe Fest in Atlanta. Let's go to Dallas Joe Fest. Maybe we go to this big Ohio toy show that happens all the time. So maybe some of those things.
I don't know if have I been to Ohio?
I don't know.
I don't think I've been to Michigan either. When you go there.
So there's some times and some other places to go, but San Diego Comic-Con is the granddaddy of them all. But it'll be interesting to see how this year goes. And once again, by the time people are watching this, San Diego Comic-Con is over. Unless you're a Patreon member, of course. Your best way to support the channel, YouTube channel memberships as well. But Angie, a few little follow-ups from last week. We talked about your Philadelphia adventure. A good friend of the channel, David Thanos, said Pat and Gino's are both not very good. He said there's better ones to try. So, and I think that's no matter where you would have went, somebody would have said there's a better place. That's just the way it goes. Like pizza's the same way. Oh, you went there?
We were going to go one more time to like one that people said were good, but we didn't make it.
I'm just mad you didn't try all the varieties, at least one of each kind. That just drives me absolutely crazy. It's keeping me up at night. I'm hoping this Ozzy setback here today keeps me up and replaces your cheesesteak.
How was your Philly cheesesteak the other day?
From
Jersey Mike.
And so then I've been craving a Philly cheesesteak for a while, just with all this talk and stuff. And I love the Jersey Mike's Philly cheesesteak. I haven't got the balls yet to go to Arby's and get those. Arby's has a cheesesteak right now, but I don't know. And somebody said there's like a garlic spread on there. It's like, I don't know any cheesesteaks that have a garlic spread.
I wonder if it's garlic aioli. You wouldn't like that. It's like a mayo.
Yeah, I don't like mayo. You're the one that likes the white sauces and the creams. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't need any of that around me, but Angie will take it all. That's for sure, as we know. But I haven't been able to try that, but the Jersey Mike one's amazing. And then, of course, I was going to take the whole family to Jersey Mike's. And Angie, you got to try this. You got to try this up. And the whole family said that Jersey Mike's is terrible. I don't ever want to go there. And the kids have never been there. So how do you know it's terrible? You never even tried it. And then Angie backed them up. So I had a lonely Saturday night at Jersey Mike's, just being by myself. And I got one of those chairs. You wouldn't even go. I got one of those. You said I was going to go watch. You're going to go watch K-pop with the kids. So that's what you did. So I went to the Walmart and Target and the Jersey Mike's on a Saturday night by myself. You know, who knows? Who knows where that night could have ended up going? But I got that one chair just because it was dinner time. I didn't want to take up a table for 4, a table for 6. So I sat in this one weird chair. I should have filmed it. I sat in the weird chair that faces the wall where you're by yourself. It's the lonely man's corner, eating Jersey Mike's by himself.
Could have gone outside and sit on the...
They didn't have anything there. No? This is a different one. This is the one by way out west. So it was hard times with Jersey Mike, just eating a lonely sub by myself. And the whole time, I hate eating by myself. I hate it. And I bet you everybody there was like, boy, that poor guy. Saturday night, Jersey Mike's by himself, no friends, no family, a total loser. I bet he's going to be sad if Ozzy Osborne dies soon. That's probably what they were saying to me. And this was like a week ago. So
I like doing stuff alone.
Yeah, you do. You do. I've come into your room a few times and you've been just... What's going on? But it's the hard time. It's a hard time eating by yourself. I don't recommend it. And when I do it at work, and off on a tangent here, I have to travel for work. I have to eat by myself. And I got a buddy that I work with. When he travels, he goes and he just gets it like Uber Eats to his hotel. I don't want that. I don't like this Grubhub Uber Eats. I don't like any of that stuff because half the time you get to it, it's cold.
And I'm like, taking stuff to go.
I hate getting stuff to go because part of it is I'm spending my hard-earned money. I want to feel like I've been, pleased.
Experience.
I wanted the experience. I could just eat something at home if I wanted to. So I always go out and get something usually. So I don't mind eating alone when I'm traveling for work because I bring my work computer and I flip that bad boy up and I'm typing away. I'm eating. I'm working. And then they all say, I know they're saying, hey, there's a businessman. There's a businessman right there. He's hard at work. He's a business guy.
As long as you're in dress clothes.
Yeah, and I'm in dress clothes. I got the collared shirt on at minimum. So they know I mean business. And it's just that in my head I can do. And it's kind of like running, like the loneliness of the long distance runner. Every time I see somebody running on the streets and I'm driving by, I'm like, who's chasing them? I always say that to you guys. Who do you think's chasing him? Remember the other day we were driving and there was this old guy and he had like blue
was running
jeans
like
on.
He was scared though.
Yeah, he was in blue jeans and like a white shirt and he didn't look like a runner at all. And then all of a sudden it was just like,
He was going one way and then he turned around and sprinted the other way.
It was strange. It was strange. So you runners out there, it's a strange thing. If I was gonna run, and these knees couldn't run at this point, if I would, I'd run where nobody would see me. It's like the hide running, because you got these people running up these major thoroughfares, and I just look at all of them like, who's chasing them? What's going on here? Where are they going? It's a weird thing.
Very few people look cute running too.
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those.
You know, some people flap their arms around.
I look cute running.
I don't know. There is that challenge out there where they say you get your spouse and you see, like, have you ever seen me run? Have I ever seen you run? I don't know if I have. I don't know.
Well, me a better chance. I feel like
I run. I used to play with the kids in the backyard, running around all over the place,
yeah.
Chasing dogs.
So what's the thing? Like dreams. I couldn't spy you because I've never seen you run.
No,
before?
It's like you're supposed to just like film them running, and then usually they laugh because it's just weird to see people run or something. Yeah. So you got to get strapped down if you're running with those weapons. That's for sure. That's for sure. But maybe we'll do that. You know, we can just do an episode as a filler. If we somehow have this episode just ready to go, it could be us running and viewing it. You can do that tortilla challenge where you slap the snot out of each other with a tortilla.
I've been wanting to do that.
I'd drop you. You just dropped your knees right then and there.
You'd probably break my nose.
Yeah. Pow! Right across the face. You got to go easy. You don't go easy with that tortilla. You get them right there. But
you'd get me with the knuckle.
There's all those challenges out there. There's that one going around now. People are always talking about where it's like, oh, this is my husband's action figures. Have you seen those ones?
Oh, you better be nice.
Yeah,
I love that one.
Oh, that's just right up our alley. But
my husband's going to show you his stuff. You better be nice.
I just don't got that stuff in me. But you do, for sure.
You'd probably make more money off that than what you're doing.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it goes back to Angie. Angie shows a little skin and just the money just comes rolling in. But, yeah, you know.
You're like, I'm not bitter.
I'm not bitter. I just toil away and work on these and get everything going. And Angie just comes in and, woo, time to party. But that's it, of course. Once again, we're filming this early, so we just literally posted the previous podcast, of course, like an hour and a half ago. So not a lot of questions rolling in quite yet. But we'll get it. If you got questions for this, you got questions for Angie, you got questions for me, put it in, of course, an email to the KylePetersonShow@gmail.com. And, of course, we'll maybe read it. And then, of course, as usual, don't forget to review the podcast wherever podcasts are found. Give it the old 5-star. Warm Angie's heart, of course. And then, of course, give a like, give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that kind of stuff, and tell a friend about the podcast. Tell people about Angie on the podcast here, because I think people say, oh, it's Kyle Peterson Show. Do we change it to the Kyle and Angie Show? I don't know. We could. The problem with that, though, is I always finish.
Yeah. I don't always finish.
I always finish. Always.
Sometimes I have to go up by myself.
Yeah, so you don't always. So that's the problem, Angie. That's the problem. You might, of course, just bail. It might be episode 50. You say, this is a good time for me to bow out of this podcast. It'll be just the Kyle Show after that. So we always got to be wary of that. God. So it's tough with branding. We don't know how long we have here. Angie's here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
Not a long time. So you never know when she might leave. She says, this isn't turning a profit for me. You know, I just cut her a check for 26 cents from residuals for this podcast, and it's just not enough. It's not paying the bills. You feel like you can make 26 cents easier somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So get your Venmo out there. You better get these people paying you. Who knows? But there it is. That is episode 18. A little bit off the cuff here. Of course, all my notes, everything, we'll do it later, I guess. But this is the Ozzy Tribute episode on about an hour notice of Ozzy. One of my heroes passing away. I don't know if I've been hit this hard since Lemmy died. And, of course, George Harrison. All my favorites. Mike Nesmith. All my favorites going. So
sad times.
I don't know. More next week, I guess, here. But I'm off, of course, to edit some videos. Hopefully get to bed early tonight. We got some steaks we're making tonight. Oh, steak night. And we'll see where it goes from there. But truly, in Ozzy fashion, Ozzy wouldn't have it any other way. The next week or so for me, no rest for the wicked. Angie, anything you're up to in the next week? No. What are you going to be doing while I'm gone?
I don't know.
You're going to get into all kinds of trouble. Look at these kids will keep you in line, that's for sure. That's for sure. So there it is, Angie, for episode 18 of the Kyle Peterson Show. Until next time, you want to say goodbye? You want to say anything?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osborne.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?